Can I be real with you? Lately, I've been having body dysmorphia. I've been gaining weight since I've been back at my dad's house, which is a good thing. Honestly, I'm not actually saying fat, I'm big, it's not that. I've seen myself super thin for the last 2 years before coming here. And of course, that was because I was not eating. I was too broke to eat. My food situation in Reno was a little bit confusing, so I didn't eat a lot. Before living in my car, I wasn't eating a lot or well because of my money situation for at least 6 months. It's been since 2022 since I've left Ontario and my house, and that's when my whole being really thin started. Been used to seeing myself really small and skinny. Granted, I'm glad I picked up the weight because when I started working out, I had thoughts of what's the point of even working out right now when I'm not even eating. I'm working out just to lose the muscle again. I think one of the reasons why the body dysmorphia is really coming on is because when my stomach is showing a little bit like this, when my arms are getting a little bit like this, when you can see weight in my cheeks and my face, I think it sparks a wound of mine. Before 2022, before I dropped the weight, before 2021, because that's when I started really losing weight actively, I have been chubby and overweight for 3 years before that. Since 2016, that's when I knew I had a huge issue with how I looked. I did not like how I looked at all. I'm not where I was, because where I was 150 pounds, 140 pounds, right? When I weighed myself at my cousin's house, most recently, 2 weeks ago, last week, I was 113 pounds. And when I got to my dad's house in the middle of February this year, I was 95 pounds. Gained about 20, and I think I feel really off about it. I can also see in a spiritual sense that being at my dad's house, before this time, before my vacation, I was really suppressing a lot. It was so easy for me to gain weight because I was just constantly eating and then suppressing a lot of stuff at the same time. Even though I was working out still, using my dad's gym, I wasn't working out to the point of sweating, doing very much the bare minimum. Being at my cousin's, using the bike as a new cardio challenge, and then feeling more motivated just from that, daily sweat. I really say all this to say that I do love and appreciate my body so much still. I think I'm still beautiful, I think I'm still sexy, but I know the 20-pound gain within 4 months of being at my dad's house, it's getting to me a little bit. I just want to share with y'all that, yeah, I'm going through it too. Gaining 20 pounds in general, on top of any weight, can make anyone be like, whoa, what just happened? I hadn't used a scale since I first got here, and then when I saw my weight at my cousin's house, it made me have a sinking feeling. To be honest, I felt a little discouraged. This video is gonna be about updates on my weight loss journey, updates on my body image, how I feel about it, and hopefully this can resonate with others out there who fluctuate in weight really fast. Be real, this is normal. I have no complaints. I'm just making myself super aware because for months before checking my weight again, I was not being mindful about what I was eating, how much I was eating, and all the things I was suppressing. So now those are all in my awareness. We'll just see what it looks like from here. I have been really enjoying working out with Chloe Ting through YouTube. Her workouts are free. I even downloaded her app, which is free as well. So I'm excited to feel like I'm gonna work with a personal trainer, just build myself up to it. I think that's something I do want, is to be in a gym, but be with a personal trainer. I can bring myself to the gym, no problem, and I can be on my own workouts. My challenge is sweating and breaking my PRs and trying to do better than I am currently. Before cousin's house, I was okay doing the bare minimum. I do appreciate the weight that I did gain because I'm gonna consider it as a bulk, as I am trying to take my exercise, strength training more seriously going forward. Let's build up to being in the gym. Since I am moving soon, I don't really want to sign up for a gym while I'm here. Just did something so amazing for myself just now. I've been feeling in a funk all day. I think it's mainly because of what time I went to bed and what time I woke up, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I know that played a huge part. I just felt so easily cranky, easily triggered. I wanted to lay in bed all day, but at the same time, I felt like, no, I wanted to get things done, and not in a way of like overproducing and having my self-worth be in that. It was more like, no, you got this. The way I wanted to be in bed was more like sulking. That's fair too. It didn't feel right. It honestly felt like emotions trapped. Like it actually felt that. I brought myself out of a comfort zone. I just danced half an hour in my room. I did a dance workout. Something about dance workouts really do something for me. I have so much fun in them, and I think it's because like I don't know all the dances. So when I'm trying to do it but in a really fast-paced way, I just like sometimes I mess up. I have fun with it. I have fun with the way I mess up. I laugh with myself. Yeah, girl, that was a little bit tough for a second. I feel so much better. I even went on a walk earlier before picking up my sisters. I felt a little bit weird, but I also did want to enjoy the sun. That didn't feel enough of a release. Then I kept hearing in my ear, somatic releasing, somatic healing. And that's something I know I could learn more about and have in my life. It does sound beneficial to me, but that is what I kept thinking about tonight, which triggered me into thinking, yeah, I do have emotions stuck in me right now. It feels so good. I feel like I really shook things out and had fun. Something I'm also trying to be more aware of is how am I adding fun into my life, because I always feel like I'm missing that. I feel like I could have more fun everywhere I go and every day, almost like I'm waiting for the fun to happen. I could talk more about that part in my vlog, but I did want to share that if you feel pent-up energy stuck in you, go for the things that are going to make you move, but you're going to enjoy it. I think when you can just enjoy the fun of it, that's amazing. I love to dance, but I'm not a professional dancer. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy moving my body to music. If I just put on my own music and dance to that, it wouldn't have hit the same. Like, yeah, I would have danced to songs I liked, but I think having the instructor be like, okay, now do this, now do this. Like lately I've been noticing so much more that I miss being coached. I was in sports teams all throughout my junior high years, the middle school years. I was in sports teams the whole year. Didn't do any sports in high school because honestly, I felt like my confidence wasn't there and I didn't feel like I had enough skill in me to try out. I stopped sports in high school, but I think bringing back just having a coach in an athletic way is an inner teen, inner child joy for me. I really loved being part of sports teams, and for that coaching being like, you can do better, you can do it, you got this, keep moving, and you're like physically doing something that's tiring you, but you have the coach being like, you got it, you got it. That is so helpful for me. Once I'm able to get like a life coach, that is gonna go so crazy for me. I already saw what having one for 3 months did for me, and I can't imagine beyond that, you know? Cheers to moving your body. I just finished workout with Chloe Ting, like working out with her while I'm at my dad's house, working with a personal trainer. I'm feeling coached through the moves. I'm sweating. Her workouts with the warm-up and the stretching cool down after is about 45 minutes in total of the whole thing. I feel like that is super manageable and sustainable to do every day. I'll get my hour of the day movement in with her. Still enough
leeway where I would want to do more the next day. I'm not currently training to my max where, you know, I'm hitting PRs and I'm doing so much resistance strength training right now. I feel like movement in general every day is going to be healthy for me being here. After what I saw yesterday with how I felt after doing the dance workout. I do go on my walks. I do a neighborhood block walk. It takes me about half an hour to do. I loved doing that as well, but it's not challenging. That walk is more meditative, grounding than it is challenging. When I sweat, it helps me release even more pent up, stuck energies within me. With how fast I gained 20 pounds in 5 months of just being at my dad's house, and I'm not binge eating, constant suppression of not feeling like I could be myself and not feeling safe to speak on how I feel, speak what's on my mind. It was constantly suppressing. It made me give so much love to the versions of me that did live in this house when I was younger, when I lived with my dad. I was scared of my dad, felt very disconnected from him. So I didn't know how to even say anything about my experience, even if I was having a good one. And to me, I could be wrong about this, but it just never felt like my dad was happy when I was happy. Question it, and he would always belittle it. I could actually even say that for my current experience, he still does that. And you know, at this point, I just know I can't change that part of him. I don't even know how to say how much creating means to me. I don't even know how to tell him that this is literally what's saving my life. I don't know how to tell him that because I really genuinely just feel like he won't care. When I was at my auntie's house, the one that goes to church, she was speaking in front of him to me about how I should keep going with my creations, how if I am passionate towards something, explore that. If I want to learn something, keep doing it. It felt so nice to have someone say that to me, but in front of my dad. He didn't add anything to that conversation. He actually walked away and acted like my little sisters needed something. I feel like it's just so uncomfortable to even get to a vulnerable space with him. When I tried the texting approach, like I asked him if I could address things to him, how I feel about this house when I was in BC. I sent him paragraphs and he didn't reply to any of it. We haven't even talked about it since I came back here. I just don't know how to consistently speak up for myself around him and to him. Wow, I guess I work on that. What made it even more noticeable was that when I was at my cousin's house and the way I felt my energy come back to me, the way I felt ready to break a new challenge, being on a bike, really going at it until I was sweating, until my body was like, okay, I'm good. After 15 minutes on level 7, I have talked back, given attitude to my dad since coming back from BC. That's what he thinks is attitude. And I almost wanted to yip back at him, being like, where do you think this attitude came from? I'm glad that even if I'm not saying so vulnerably what these creations, what my day-to-day does for me, I'm glad that in moments of triggers, I can stand up for myself in that. Because when I first got here, before I went to BC, I couldn't even stand up for myself during my triggers. Once I got triggered by my family, I just go downstairs. And I could really see how much I just would prefer processing things alone, and that's how I would just stay alone. No one understands me, no one gets me, nobody wants to understand me. And that's how I feel every time I'm like with my family upstairs. Why is what I do such a big deal to you? And it doesn't affect you, it doesn't involve you. What I was trying to do was prepare leftovers for myself to eat, and he was so bothered by that. So when I spoke up for myself in that regard, it felt so good. I was like, finally, I'm saying like, what you're nagging me about is not a big deal. You try to like come at me for little small stuff all the time. Like I'm supposed to be perfect in your eyes all the time, or else. When I don't listen to him, he's always like, other people won't like this. Other people. And I called him out on that. When in the heat of the moment, I was like, just say you don't like this. You don't want me to do this in your house. Other people probably don't care. That's what I said to him. And that's when he said, oh, you have an attitude. And I'm like, it's the truth. I don't care. After seeing that I could speak up for myself like that, I feel like I can keep doing that to him here. And it's just so hard to even be around him, to be honest. I can't be active, I can't be happy, I can't be creative. And that's what I love. Like when I'm around my dad, I feel like I have to be a shell. And not even in a way to make him comfortable. It's just so completely awkward. It's so awkward when someone ignores your happiness. I'm done feeling like I need to suppress myself here. I'm glad that I do have a countdown to when I'm actually leaving. I think that's what actually has helped me speak up, is knowing that, yeah, my time is running out here and I'm happy about that. So whatever happens day to day, I'm accepting of it, but I'm not gonna just let everybody walk all over me here anymore, even if I have X amount of days left. Even if it comes to a point where they just completely see me with someone who has an attitude, someone who doesn't listen, I'm fine with that, because I'm so done looking up another pawn for my family members to use. I'd rather be the difficult one where they were like, okay, you know what? She never listens to us. Let's not bother her. I'd rather reach that point than try to people please the fuck out of them. I did that for the first few months when I came back here, and it drove me crazy. Added to the weight gain because I didn't know how much I was abandoning my own self just so other people can be comfortable. I'm done doing that. So whenever I feel like I am doing that, I'm just gonna work it off, let the tension go, speak up for myself, and ride from there. I do want to say out loud that at one point, even if I have to text my dad this, I'm gonna tell him that what I do in my life every day, what I create, is what's keeping me alive. When I have the courage to do that, I will. Maybe I need to write a letter first, who knows? I know at the end of the day, it's something I want to say to him. Creating keeps me alive. Everything I do in a day helps me stay alive. It's nice to connect the dots of suppression and weight gain. I'm not saying that only suppressing things is going to make you weight gain. There's other factors. When I'm sad, I don't binge eat. I actually avoid food. And not because like I'm deliberately being like, no, I'm not going to have food then. I'm just too anxious to eat. Don't get hungry, and I just leave it like that. Then when I am around food, it gets into a state of, okay, well, I'll just eat anything then. And I get full fast, so I'm happy about that. But what I get full with, I'm not as mindful of. Like, I could eat so much sweets in one sitting. I could eat all the salty foods. And for me, if I eat too much salty, I need to eat sugar right away. And vice versa. If I eat too much sugar, then I need salty right away. So I have a lot of like really random foods that I eat together. Sometimes a lot of my meals, because I was not eating for hours and hours, I would just go straight for the things that I would think would make me full right away. And that could look like heavy carbs, processed foods. I'm not going to be hard on myself about the ways that I've had food and my diet over the past few years. I feel like I was stuck in survival in the physical world for so long, and it really reflected that. I'm trying to remember how much more healed I am, that I'm not in survival anymore, that I'm actually very abundant, and I just want to keep remembering that. Remembering my abundance, being here. I don't want to suppress anymore. What helps a lot with being in the present and not suppressing is working out so hard that I'm sweating. So I'm glad that I have that outlet. My body let me know that I was starting to hold a lot of things in again. Even if my mind was very strong about, oh no, I let it go, it's fine, things are fine. My body was like, it's not, but it's not. The more I've been sweating, I feel like the more I've been crying, because even last night after the dance workout, I thanked myself for doing that workout. And I started to cry. I started to cry because a memory came up about something triggering. I don't even remember it now, honestly, but it felt like a memory, just like a random one, but a very emotional one. A memory that left me very sad, that I guess I didn't process. That randomly came up after I said thank you for dancing. So your body tells you so much, and I'm grateful for mine. I'm currently sitting in the upstairs living room I normally enjoy upstairs way more when there's no one here. No shade to my sisters, my stepmom, grandma, or my dad. It's just, even at its most quietest, it's not quiet. It's uncomfortable. When I'm silent around my family, it feels much different than being silent with your friends. Like, you know, when you're hanging out with your friends and maybe there's a moment where you're all on your phones, and I know that's not an ideal hangout. It's not. But for an example, say you've already been hanging out for hours, right? And then you just want to like each have your alone time, but you want to be around each other. I've done that with friends in the past. Like, we've hung out for hours straight. We were talking to each other the whole time, but then we still wanted to hang out, but take a break from talking to each other. So we went on all our phones. That feels more comfortable than being around my family, drawing, crocheting, being on my phone. Like, it feels different. When I actually have the house to myself, I go upstairs. Oh my gosh, let me take this opportunity. Upstairs has a lot of natural lighting in the living room and kitchen. I want to sit in it. I'm really grateful because my stepmom actually bought the fam a lot of different banh mi's. So interesting. I've been craving banh mi's for so long, especially the one really close to my dad's house. That's an OG banh mi spot. Have been one since I was in junior high, and it's still there. To this day, I think it's the best banh mi I've ever had. No matter where I went. I've gone to the US, I've gone to Toronto, I've gone to Vancouver, and maybe I could still be wrong, but this is the best one I've ever had still. I don't normally like to have assorted banh mi, but here I'll have it. How many vegetables they give you? Like, I feel like everywhere else cheaps out so hard when it comes to vegetable. Some banh mi places where I get like one leaf of the cilantro, I'm like, are you guys like really tight on a budget? Because why are you just giving me one piece of cilantro? Like, I get how it's a preference for people, but if people want it, put it in there. Don't be shy, especially about the vegetables if people want the vegetables. I don't know, for me personally though, I like having more vegetable than meat in the banh mi, or a really, really good balance of both. That's my preference. I know some people don't want vegetables, so I get it. I feel a little bit anxious right now. The book I'm reading right now is not just a novel to pick up, it's material to learn through. And I think the reason why I stall on reading books I could study with, especially right in the morning, is because I don't want to take notes right away. I actually might have to delegate this book into a different area of the day where I'd want to take notes. I thought I would try it out. Like, I knew that I didn't really want to read this kind of book first thing, but I didn't want to take out a library book if I'm only going to be here for a couple more weeks. I wanted to actually read the books I do have because I haven't touched some of the books I've bought in a while. This is a good opportunity. And plus, the book I'm currently reading right now, it's about Neolithic shamanism. It's really good material. I've already learned a lot, but like I said, I don't really feel like writing notes in the morning is helpful for me. When I read books of study and then I learn something, I almost want to begin how to apply that into my life, especially if I think it'll work for me. 2 days ago, I read a chapter in the morning. I wrote some notes for it. From the things that I learned, I got excited to try to do some of the things that the book was saying. And I just don't feel like that's something I want to continuously keep up with every morning. It will help me make my mind more ready for learning, for magic, feeling like I'm being mentored. Journaling helps me a lot more than reading this kind of book first thing. Period of wake up where when I wake up, I'm trying not to check Township first thing, but the reason why I do is because I feel like I'm not as awake as I could be, and instead of patiently trying to wake up, I'll like do something to wake myself up even more. Why don't you just let yourself sleep? And it's because sometimes I don't want to feel like I'm sleeping the morning away. Like, for example, today I woke up at 9:30. I don't know, that didn't sit right with me. Maybe it's because I'm in a house that doesn't let you sleep in and doesn't celebrate rest. So when I wake up like past 8 o'clock, I'm like, oh my God, I need to start my day. And no one's bothering me to do anything. I want to have stuff done before I see my sisters. My sisters are very distracting. And as much as I want to be present with them and give them time and attention, I really want to stay focused on my own stuff, even if it means at least journaling, at least working out. Oh, let me get these things done first before actually hanging out with my sisters. And then if I have free time in between or free time after seeing them for the first time, then I could do my other stuff. I really like living with other people. But when I think of how I like to operate in my day, the things I do to fill up my time, and not just to like have time pass, it's genuinely like I really have a routine and hobbies that make me feel so myself. Prioritize the things I do for myself heavily. It's nice to have a check-in like this. Took progress pictures the other day, so I'm actually gonna work on that more than looking at my weight. I think looking at my weight was helpful when I did look at it at my cousin's house. The last time I checked the scale was when I first got to my dad's house, like I said. So that was a good 5 months in between. I was starting to notice that there was physical changes to my stomach and my face, and then to have that confirmed, yeah, we were suppressing. I was living in an energy of feeling stuck while I was being here. And sometimes I really feel like that stuckness can get overwhelming, especially when I feel like my house is stagnant. Yesterday, the girls, they're in elementary, had their last day yesterday, and there was just no celebratory energy in the house. I didn't even know they finished earlier in the day. I thought I was gonna pick them up at 2, but they came back home at 12. When I saw them, I was like, oh, aren't you guys happy? It's your last day. And they're like, yeah. I just feel so sad. I feel like my sisters don't know how to get excited, and that's probably because every time they have gotten excited, their parents shut them down really fast. My dad was preparing burgers for all of us yesterday, but he didn't make mine. He was like, make your own. And that's something he weirdly does. Like, if he's making food for all of us and he wants me to come eat with them, he'll prepare the bowls and dishes for my sisters, and then he'll just be like, to me, he'll be like, go do it yourself. And I'm like, why did you ask me to come eat with you then, if you're not also gonna make me one? And I just think it's weird because he's already making the bowls. Like, it's not gonna take it out of him to make me one as well. And I just think it's really fucking weird. But anyways, that happened yesterday. There's like things I like to say, make me feel comfortable. Like I have a weird thing where I like to say or else. Yesterday I was like, I wanna prepare something or else. And the way that I said it, my dad was like, can you stop? Can you be quiet? And it made me so annoyed. It made me so annoyed. I'm not even fucking doing anything. I wasn't even talking to you. I'm just talking to myself, and that bothers you. It got to a point for me where I was sitting with my sisters eating the burger, and I was like, no matter what me or my sisters do, my dad always silences us. When we went to eat dinner with my aunt, who we don't see often, she's really talkative and she works with kids. She told my dad straight up that my sisters don't have social skills because they don't. They don't. Whenever we go anywhere outside the house, they're so quiet. But when we're inside the house and they're just talking to me, they can talk for hours straight. I can see how that's how I grew up too. Like, it took a while for me to get comfortable around people, but when I couldn't shut up. They can't talk to strangers openly. And it's because their parents make them very fearful of other people outside this house. Ultimately, they make them fearful about them. So my sisters feel silenced a lot, and I could see how that, like, what that did to me when I was younger. When I notice it now, it's just really upsetting. I get annoyed when my dad silences me over really small stuff. So I can't imagine how I felt when, I was excited about winning awards, joining sports teams, doing all the things. I was an overachiever because it felt like nothing I ever did was enough for my dad. He didn't go to any of my sports events. I was in band. He didn't go to anything like that. I was involved in a lot of things in junior high. But as soon as I noticed, like, nobody in my family give a fuck about the things that I was doing in junior high. Like, I was a 90s student. I was playing sports. I was joining band. I was joining all these different extracurriculars, and nobody at my house cared. I got into high school with that mindset of, why should I try for anything above average if no one gives a fuck? I joined basketball in the first year, but I was basically a bench warmer, so I don't count that. My confidence to even try for anything else was shot. I I went from a 90 student to barely passing high school. Didn't care to try anymore. I see that for my sisters, are scared to try things on their own. And when they don't do well the first few times, they'll quit it altogether. They'll get really discouraged and it'll completely stop them from everything. It's just so heartbreaking to see that how my dad treated me when I was younger, he's doing it to them, and I can see what it's doing to them. I keep forgiving my dad and I keep trying to find compassion. I keep trying to hold space for the person he is, but it's like he constantly refuses to see anything outside of his miserable perspective. And I want to emphasize miserable because he finds a problem in absolutely everything. For me, it's hard to speak up because I feel like even if I speak up on that, it won't be met with understanding. It'll be met with defensiveness. And I'm like, what's the point of even speaking up? Like, the reason why I held my voice down for so long growing up is because I always thought to my dad, what's the point? Even when I did really good, nothing was said. Even when my dad had to pick me up from really bad situations, example, being blacked out drunk in a field when I was 13, he didn't say anything to me. He gave me a silent treatment for a week, actually. Okay, so as long as I don't get caught doing anything bad, okay, then my dad will talk to me. But I'm still gonna do all these risky things. Like, I remember having a reputation in junior high for being someone who was going nowhere in life because I was already drinking so much. I had two different types of friend groups growing up in junior high. I had friends who were very academic, like they were really smart. They made me focus on school, and I wanted to achieve better in my own life because I had friends who were not only 90 students, but they were like really close to 100. And I was good friends with them. And then in another aspect, I also had friends who weren't the best influence. You know, they were drinking, some were smoking. I didn't partake in smoking. I don't smoke cigarettes in general, but I didn't start smoking. I didn't try my first weed experience until I was 16, but I didn't become a regular at it because I didn't really like the feeling. I had friends like that though, who were very much open to the partying scene right when we were 13. I had friends to drink heavy with. I had both of those within me. Sometimes with my book smart friends, they would shame me a lot for being a partier, and I couldn't blame them. I wasn't trying to promote it myself. I knew that it was harmful. It was the only thing that made me feel really good sometimes. Winning awards felt good, but it didn't feel enough for me. Even though I was winning awards, I wasn't happy. There was already so much sadness I was feeling by the time I was 13 that I felt like it was fine to drink like that. And I'm just worried that my sisters are gonna find a similar route of finding stimulation elsewhere because of how suppressed they were growing up. I'm just gonna be there for them. I can't be like, I've done this, so you don't do this. Like, I'm not gonna be someone like that. I'm not gonna tell them everything that I've done unless they ask me, and I'll be transparent about my experiences as well. Like, their mom already thinks I'm a bad example, but I feel like I'm a real example that, if you don't have a family that applauds you, celebrates you, helps you, how can they be your source of anything long term? And if you don't have your family as a place of support, a place of comfort, you're gonna find that elsewhere when you grow up. And that's what happened to me. I didn't feel like I grew up in a normal family dynamic. I didn't feel like my family was loving at all. I didn't feel like my family was supportive at all. So that was why I did so many things behind their back. I don't know who I am, and I need to figure that out through all the things I feel like I'm called to do. And if that means getting in trouble, that means getting in trouble. Like, that's the only way I learn. Because it wasn't like my dad was giving me proper discipline. Like, it felt like when it passed the age where he couldn't yell at me the same, he couldn't physically treat me the same in some areas of discipline. It felt like when he couldn't do those things anymore, because I wasn't a kid, he just completely ignored me instead. At the end of the day, I don't want to blame him constantly for the things I lacked growing up and the lack I feel in me sometimes. I feel like every day has been met with a lesson of patience, compassion, and understanding. But it's hard when I'm trying to accept that for my own life And then I see it actively happening for my sisters. It's because I'm really protective about kids, but these are my sisters, so I'm extra protective. I almost feel a little bit like helpless because I'm already trying to do so much I can for my own mental health being here, but I want to be someone for them. But I can't do both constantly every day, and it's hard. It's fine to know who you are and you're stuck in your own ways because you know who you are strongly. I feel like everybody in this house feels like they're out of control in their own life, and that part is projected a lot. So they could try to control everybody. Like everybody here in this house tries to control each other through manipulation, emotions, screaming at each other, fear, threats. Everyone does it to each other here. And it's so hard to observe and watch. That's why I spend so much time downstairs. I can't even witness this. I can't even be around it. It is scary how much more control is needed than love and care. Things are changing and turning around. I've said so many different things to my dad. I've tried leaving this house 2 times now. One out of just to purely leave and abandon this house. And I told him why I was doing that. And it didn't feel like we were meeting each other still. Defending myself when I was at the airport, trying to end it on a good note, but he was not seeing my side of it. And then when I came back to the house, because, I got banned from America, quiet between us. And he was just trying to be nice to me for like a few days. But then he went back to his old ways of nothing's ever right, nothing's ever perfect for me. When I left to BC, he was upset about it. And closer to the days that I was about to come back, I sent him that message of like why it feels so good for me to be out of the house. And he didn't reply to that. So it's like, even when I tried to have a conversation with him, he's so set on not trying to see it in my way. And if he's trying to understand me at all by not messaging me, and he's trying to process things on his own, that's not helpful for me. To me, how I see it is no matter what I say or how I say it, I'm always going to be misunderstood by him. And it makes me confused on who I am, constantly trying to explain myself to him. It's just hard to even want to hold space and share space for someone who constantly refuses emotions in general. My dad doesn't like to feel anything, and because of that, he feels like everybody else doesn't need to feel anything. It's funny because he has 2 new daughters. He's in a house full of girls. It's like he is constantly being reflected, fucking look at your emotions and try to understand them, instead of blaming everybody else for being emotional, which he does. Anytime the girls get upset with him because he did something, he'll shut them down. He'll get even more mad. Like if he makes my sisters cry because he said something insensitive, he'll be more mad and he'll be like, stop crying right now or else I'll get more mad at you. Talk about no emotional regulation before becoming a parent. I'm gonna eat this banh mi now. I feel like I haven't eaten. I feel like I've kind of reached a little bit of anxiety to a point where it's hard to eat. But it was not because of just my spiel here. Like when I woke up, also in the span of like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, my cousin started texting me something that's happening in her life that's very important. It is very important, but it was a lot. Like it was like she needed someone to say all of what she was feeling to. And normally I don't mind being that kind of person to people, but it was like right first thing where she just unloaded and I was like, okay, this is a lot too. My own opinions and thoughts about her situation are coming up. And then once I got upstairs to eat, because my stepmom messaged me that there's food, they just left because their grandma is going to BC. A lot of commotion and a lot of different things. So I feel a little bit overwhelmed and I feel like meditation is actually really helpful. I do want to spend the day outside today. It is supposed to rain, but I felt like doing a neighborhood walk yesterday wasn't enough. Yesterday I was really anxious, having closure with the person I was romantically involved with. That was probably the first time in a very long time where I had a healthy goodbye with someone I was romantically involved with. Everybody in Reno, there was 4 people I met in the year and a half I was in Reno, and they all ghosted me. I could see how emotionally unavailable I have been to myself, especially when I was in Reno. But being ghosted, like seeing that kind of reflection sucks at the end of the day. Yeah, I was emotionally unavailable to myself, but I also had abandonment wounds. So like watching it play out like that constantly, I was like, it made me forget how to say bye to the people I was romantically involved with. And it made me feel like, do I even know how to say goodbye? Should I even say goodbye? With this most recent one, not only did I know how to speak up for my emotions as it was happening, when I felt like I had to stand up for myself and set boundaries and be clear, like I was able to do that. I'm grateful to experience faith in a connection, but we saw faith a different way. And at the end of the day, we weren't living similar lives. We don't have similar goals. We don't have similar outlooks. And that was something that was starting to distract me a little bit. Like I felt like when I was sharing my experiences with him, he just wouldn't get it. And it also felt like he wasn't trying to understand either. Same with the emotion scale. Like I felt like we handle emotions very differently. And I think when it comes to romantic relationships, emotional intelligence and emotional understanding, especially for yourself, is very important for me. I need a partner who, if something is happening in their life, very tragic, or even if they're having a bad day, I'd want them to be able to feel that. I don't want a partner who's like, okay, I just need to keep working to distract myself. Oh, let me do all these other things to distract myself then, so I don't feel what I'm feeling. I can't have a partner like that. I think that's very irresponsible. Long term, it's going to be extra irresponsible if we introduce kids. I'm not having kids with someone who doesn't know their own emotions and who keeps avoiding it. I know I'm going to have kids. I want to have kids. I want to build a family of my own. But I need my partner to be as emotionally aware as I am, at least. I was giving myself time to phase out. I just have a huge history of burning bridges and cutting connections so quick that I was like, you know what? If it takes like some time after our breakup, I want to say breakup for the convenience of it, but we weren't officially together. I wanted to have a transition after the breakup because I normally don't give myself that time. You were heavily part of my daily routine. Now I'm just going to give grace that it's just going to slowly end out. And yesterday was that point where it was like really hard for him to keep in contact with me. And I find that completely fair. Like I wouldn't enjoy being the person on the other side of the breakup that I didn't initiate or expect. When I ended it, he didn't really see that coming. I just wanted to give a grace period after where we were transitioning out of it. We stopped calling as often. I stopped with the cute names, affection. I just wanted to keep it at a level of at least like having a mental connection where we're still kind of talking, but he still had like really heavy emotions invested. So, you know, he told me yesterday he needed like time away from talking to me. And that was the first time I actually felt like I had healthy closure to a relationship. I think since then, I've been feeling like a little bit off. Like I didn't even expect myself to cry about it again today. Right now, I think I'm just overwhelmed. So many things happening in my life right now in different areas, and I'm just overwhelmed. So I just need to focus on one thing at a time. So I'm actually gonna meditate now before I yap so much into more confusion. And the ending of this vlog is turning out to be so freaking long. I think I just needed a venting session. This video is about my mental health, so I felt it was appropriate. Anyways, I'm gonna meditate, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna enjoy my time upstairs alone while I have it. And then I'm just praying I get to leave the house today. I just need to ground, honestly. Thank you so much for listening to this vlog. Thank you so much for staying tuned with my stories. If you have any relatable experiences of body dysmorphia, you know, from losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, or even if you just like recently lost a lot of weight, or if you recently gained a lot of weight, like if you have any kind of body dysmorphia, share it below, get it out there just so you're aware. Because as soon as I said that about my experience, it opened my eyes to being like, okay, what are we gonna do different? And not saying it in a way like I need to fix the situation. It's more like I noticed I wasn't happy with my changes, and that's just it. I'm not saying, oh, I need to go back to being that skinny again. It's not that. It's just more like I need to find balance. I need to have a good, healthy balance, because I know that when I was 95 pounds, that was really skinny. You can see my bones in my chest area. That's how skinny like I was. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, I need to get back to that, but you know, a good balance of in between that and how I am right now. Of just being aware of suppression itself, that's like the biggest key. If you're not happy with your life and you're not happy with your work, you're not happy with your friends, you're not happy with your partner, you're gonna gain weight. You're gonna gain weight. I am proof of that experience. When I was constantly partying, I didn't understand why I was gaining weight, because I was also working as much. Like I was working 12-hour shifts serving on my feet. And then I would go to the gym sometimes. So I'm just like, I don't know why I'm still gaining weight. And it's because I just wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with my work, my friends, my relationship, my home life, who I was as a person, especially. I was not happy. That resulted in the weight gain. And it's just so interesting to see a similar weight gain when I came back to Calgary. Free to express how I wanted, with who I wanted outside of Calgary. And then when I came back to my childhood home, it was like subconsciously starting to suppress things again and keeping things in. So that's just on awareness. Okay, this is where I leave you. I need to meditate. Bye.